Hello and welcome to another episode of Power Rangers Lore. Today we are talking about a very special ranger and the next part of our series for the RPM Rangers, Summer Landsdown, RPM Yellow Ranger. Now, unlike the other rangers, she came from a less humble background and had the most character-changing and defined moments in her backstory that I have seen in the entire series. Now, besides Dr. K, of course, but this is from the Rangers' point of views. Now, Summer Landsdown came from a very wealthy family before the attack on basically the world by the Vengex virus. She was basically a spoiled brat and cared nothing for nobody. She had all her friends behind us. She was basically the Paris Hilton equivalent, but with no basic idea where in the world she actually stood. Now, when the attack on Corinth happened, she would be at her house just getting ready for a party with her friends. Before they arrived, though, she'd show off her motorcycle skills, showing that she was more than just a little girl. She was able to get dirty as well, but she kind of kept that hidden from her friends, probably afraid of the judgment she would get for being such a tomboy while acting like such a beautiful heiress. Now, when the attack happened, her friends would ditch her immediately, along with the rest of the staff, and she would be left alone. Now, she would not be alone for very long, for her personal butler, Andrews, would come and find her and help her through the path. However, Andrews would not make it much longer and sacrifice himself in order to save her from a pack of evil grinders. They would have a basically moment there, and she would realize that she could not let his sacrifice go in vain and would have to go on further. She would make it all the way back to Corinth, meet her parents again there, and kind of realize that they were very snobbish, and it kind of disturbed her for a second. Now, in that also same moment, she would hear about a crashed pilot. She would steal a vest and a motorcycle and go and save that pilot, Scott Truman, and make it back. This would secure her position as the Yellow Ranger. However, the price was a little high. She could not become a ranger unless her parents agreed to, and they did, with the stunning little deal of you have to get married in a year. How? They gave her that time and she became a ranger, but she had no desire to fulfill that wish. She had no desire to continue being a rich heiress. She knew what she had to do with the sacrifice of Andrews, and nothing was going to stop her. However, she had no way of knowing that within a year's time also that she would come across a new love interest, someone she could actually probably fall for, and did throughout the series, Dylan. Now, he is a half cybernetic person. He's not truly an android nor a cyborg. I would call him more enhanced at the time. Now, she would kind of not really start with a crush, but she would be very interested, and it would develop on a crush on Dylan's side when he found out that she was to get married to another family that was very pompous and the like. Now, the only reason that they were getting married is because of a black diamond, and it was to secure their family lineage as well as the money that they had lost in the attack. Now, eventually, worst came to worst, and Tanya 7 would try to steal the said black diamond they were wielding to power something. However, it came to an issue. They lost the diamond. Tanya 7 didn't get it either, but her parents finally came to terms to realizing that maybe it was Summer's decision and that she was a grown woman who needed to be that Power Ranger. Now, that was not an easy decision for them, and they came to realize after hearing the comments and seeing her fight by the other people. Quite a big turn of events for her, and very good backstory growing. Now, the rest of the series, she'd be basically drawing a closer bond to Dylan, and basically make him her major focus. He came to a point where he was about to be consumed by the technology inside of him, and decided to find a way to cure him by any means necessary. Now, they would almost die in a burning Vengex factory, and they would share their first kiss until water started to fall upon them, ruining that moment, and it would never end a kiss there. being interrupted by Gem and Gemma. Now, as the series winded on, she would have very many scary moments of almost losing Dylan to the Vengex virus currently coursing through his body, trying to take control. But, well, she able to persevere and defeat and use love to conquer all. Well, not really. It was a complicated process, but her love and his willpower to see her do no harm did help, but it was Dr. K and her ingenuity that actually saved Dylan. Now, it was very much hinted after the series of events that Dylan and Summer would get together, but it is never fully shown. They did share a kiss in the end, and would basically be hinted there was much more as they brought back a ravaged world, but that was Summer Landsdown. Now, for a character as per se, she is a very changing character. She went from a very snobbish person to a full caring about someone else other than herself. Much different from Scott, who was trying to get his father's approval and realized it wasn't all that it cracked up to be, that he was trying too hard. Flynn was much different of a character. He wanted to be a superhero, and he very quickly became a superhero. But he realized that maybe family was more important in the end. Of the other characters, it wasn't as much of growth, even for Ziggy or Dylan, but Dylan's major storyline has to work with Summers here. She would later be in charge of the Bear Crawler Megazord, and would also be responsible for helping the Rangers on several different occasions defeat the villains. Now, she is one of the major female lead Rangers, Gemma being the other, but I would say that Summer had a bigger impact. If it wasn't for Gem and Gemma, well, you wouldn't have a lot of other things going on, but in truth, she was the major anchor and leading character of that series. Now, she would show up in Megaforce and in Beast Mode for more of just cameos, never actually showing her character face, but that'd be basically it. She would also appear in the split history of the Shattered Grid, and that's a long, complicated story, let's just say that. But she would appear there as well as fighting off Lord Draken's army. So, that is basically the entire lore behind Summer Landsdown. I hope you guys enjoyed, and give me comments, likes, and subscribe to this channel if you wish to hear more about the characters and villains of the Power Rangers series. I'm your host, and I hope to see you again tomorrow for the next Ranger, Ziggy.